So the purpose of today's session is to talk a little bit more specifically around how to choose your majors at Monash Arts, and also for you to have a think about what possible career options could come with the different majors that we offer at Monash Arts. Today will also be a really interactive session. As you can see, we're a smaller crowd today, which is great. What it means is we can be more interactive and we can be more personalized. So if you have specific questions throughout the session, you can let me know them by putting the questions in the chat. And then at the end, probably in the last 20 minutes, or 20 to 30 minutes, we'll have a chance for a Q&A. So you can ask any questions you like while we have Lynn and Georgina from Monash Arts with us. But maybe I'll start by introducing Georgina and Lynn. Georgina, would you like to jump in and introduce yourself to the students?
Hi everyone, thanks for joining. So good to have you here today. As Tyson said, we'll keep it fairly informal. I do have some slides to show you and some videos as well, which I hope you'll enjoy. So my role at Monash Arts is in recruitment and in advising students on their study options. So hopefully you'll gain some good information from this session.
Thank you very much, Georgina. And Lynn, would you like to, for those students who don't know you, just give yourself a quick introduction?
Yep, sure thing. Hi, I'm Lynn from Faculty of Arts, Lynn Carter, International Student Coordinator and mainly Monash College Transition Coordinator. So help you transition from your diploma through to degree to completion in all sorts of ways along the way. So yeah,
Thanks,
feel free to contact.
Thank you. Lynn is an incredible source of support for us here at Monash College, and Georgina likewise. Last though, Kavi, my wonderful team member Kavi. Kavi, would you like to say hello?
Hi students, I'm Kavi. I would call myself Tyson 2.0.
That means Tyson new and improved, right?
Well, you can always reach out to me and Tyson's if you have any questions with regards to how to get into Monash Uni, whether it's arts, whether you're looking at double degree with arts. So just feel free to reach out to us. A little bit of personal spiel. I was also an art student with Monash University many years ago. So we are always here to help. So reach out to us anytime you want.
Thank you very much, Kavi. And I was an art student at Monash too. So that makes two of us. How about that?
Go Arts.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and I'll let you share, Georgina. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Here we go.
Now let me know if you can actually see my screen.
Yep.
You can see, so you're not in the notes mode, you can see the full slide?
Can see the full slide, Georgina, not in the
Perfect.
notes mode. Yeah,
Perfect.
Monash Arts, together we can shape the world.
We certainly can, everyone. And people who are attracted to arts want to build a better society, a society that considers the views of others, that questions and holds powers to account, that's willing to change its mind when it's going the wrong way. So arts all the way, people. It's so important to study arts and to improve our society and the world that we live in. So arts does prepare you for lots of different types of jobs, which is why it's so great. It doesn't only prepare you for one type of job, and you'll see some of the areas that you can work in this next slide. So you can move into diplomacy and government, into business, technology, marketing. A lot of our students move into marketing and communications because arts is very good at building your communication skills. Public policy, and public policy is important because they're rules that affect us as a society. Law, consulting, finance, strategic communications. And this is just a snapshot of where you can go with arts. And the next slide will show you how important we are in everyday life, in the pandemic even, and the impact that arts is having on what's going on with the pandemic. And you'll see there, and you can look this up, it's on our website, that, you know, in sociology is about, you know, looking at the social fabric of society, what's going on, how it's affecting all of us. Cultural innovation during the pandemic, health and ethics, we teach bioethics. Media and communication, how is the media reporting on COVID and how does it make us feel? The whole impact. So arts is broad and it moves across lots of different career fields and areas. Another great thing about arts and the careers that you get with arts is that most careers that you'll get with arts are at low risk of automation. So that slide will show you there that only 14% are at risk of being taken over by the robots. So which means that you'll be able to stay employed for a long time, and you'll be able to be agile and move with the changes in the future of work. So what are these great skills that you're getting in arts? You're becoming aware of what's going on in your own country, what's going on around the world. So we build globally literate graduates, we build innovative thinkers, we build agility, so encouraging you to have an agile mind. And that means it's great to be innovative and a critical thinker, but you also need to learn how to adapt your mind and move with the changes and not sort of get stuck in any mindset. And that's what arts does, because there's nothing black and white about arts. And it gets you to think and open up your mind and explore and ask the difficult questions. Great problem solvers and excellent communicators. Communication would be a #1 skill that you get from an arts degree. And many of you will move into a Bachelor of Arts, but if you do want to change degree, we do also have media communication, we have music, we have criminology, we have politics, philosophy and economics, and lots of double degrees as well. One of the double degree options, so which will come as an invitation to you in your second year, is the Bachelor's Master's program. So whilst we have double degrees, say with arts and business, arts and education, arts and law, and I do know that Tyson told me recently a Monash College student, Diploma Part 1, got into arts law double degree, which is an amazing, amazing achievement. The Bachelor Master's program is a little bit different. It's a program you're invited to in your second year of your arts degree, or any single arts degree that you're in. So it means that you can finish in 4 years with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And most of you will already know that a master's qualification is a higher qualification and you're a little bit more of an expert in a certain area. So if by your second year you're achieving a 65% average or higher, you'll be invited to apply to this program and choose any of the master's programs that we teach in arts. So that might be linguistics, applied linguistics, it might be interpreting and translation. If you have a language behind you, it might be journalism or international relations or public policy. There's 11 programs to choose from. I'm just going to show you what that looks like in a map. So this is what the 4-year program would look like. So you've got 2.5 years of your bachelor studies, and then you start your master's studies in 3rd year and complete 1 more year of master's studies. So in 3rd year, you continue to pay your bachelor's fees, your bachelor degree fees, and in 4th year, so you're only paying for 1 year of the master's program, the master's fees. So it does come out cheaper for you, as well as making you stand out in a crowd, because you'll have not only a bachelor's degree, but also a higher master's qualification.
And Georgina, can I just add to that? Having a master's degree in today's workplace and today's job industry can be really valuable. And in some cases, for example, if you're interested in working in a university, sometimes a master's degree may be a minimum qualification needed for certain jobs. So this is a really nice way to package it up and save a lot of time, because I remember, Georgina, I did my undergraduate and my master's separately, and my undergraduate took 4 years. My master's degree took 2 years, and I had to pay for those separately. So this represents a huge cost and time saving.
Absolutely, and good points, Tyson. In the US, a master's qualification is the minimum requirement for many jobs, actually. So that's been happening for many years now, and I feel like Australia will be going in that same direction as we become more educated in the tertiary sector. So in addition to studying a degree, we want you to have lots and lots of different opportunities and experiences. You know, many of you will be in Australia from a different country, but we still want you to go overseas and experience more of the world, because in arts, we're all about what's happening on a global level, and to understand each other's perspectives. I mean, the way Australia views, you know, an item would be very different to the way it's viewed, say, in a European country or in a South American country. So we want you to have as broad a perspective as possible on a topic. And we offer exchange, so you can go away for a semester or a year to one of our 150 partners around the world, so university partners anywhere in the world. And you choose where you go. Or if you feel that's too long to be away, you can do a study tour, which will go for 2 to 6 weeks, or a field trip. You can do an intensive language program, which will really accelerate your language skills. You can go to our study centre in Prato in Italy and do a semester there, an intensive semester, and you don't even have to know Italian to study there. Or our fabulous Global Immersion Guarantee, which is a funded and guaranteed trip overseas for all arts students. And it allows you to delve into sustainability and environmental issues in the country that you're in, and talk to people on the ground about what they're doing to improve their own sustainability and environmental issues. And, you know, just, I guess, have that more global perspective. So I'm going to switch now to a video, and it will show Xenia, who did her Global Immersion Guarantee in China, and I'm hoping this is going to play.
Hi, my name is Senya. I am a first-year Monash Arts student, and I'm going to Shanghai, China in 2 days for the Global Immersion Guarantee Unit. I think I'm most excited about taking what we've learned from our first-year arts unit and applying them to a real-world context. So I think what we need is to go to Shanghai and to see what organizations and businesses are doing there to solve some of the world's most pressing issues, and to learn about them in the context of China's immense history and grand culture, because in this world it won't take one person to solve all of these issues. It'll take entire countries, and if we can understand the cultures and the people who live in them, then I think we can better understand and solve the issues that we are facing today.
So that was Xenia. Xenia went to China. Your other country choices are India, Italy, Indonesia, or Malaysia. And it's a 2-week intensive trip where your airfare is paid for, your accommodation, your in-country travel costs. So all you're paying for really is any incidentals or your food costs. And mind you, that's only one study abroad option for you. We also offer you internships, and the key thing about internships is networking and meeting people who are in the professional environment. Most jobs you get in your life are going to be through your contacts. It's important to network. It's also important to kind of get out there in the workforce and see what you like and what you don't like, or you might discover a whole new area. I know for my internship, and this was in high school, mind you, I went into a government department, and I was completely bored out of my brain, and I knew that was not an area I wanted to work in. But I met people, and you know, your contacts will be invaluable. Now you can do your internship in Australia or overseas, and you're in that little list there's just a sample of where our students have interned in the past. Mind you, this is for credit, so it's for 1 or 2 units worth of credit, as are the study abroad programs. They are all for credit. So you're not actually adding time to your degree. Here's a little video that's going to play about internships.
How would you pitch this unit to someone who is thinking about taking it?
Is this like a 60-second pitch or elevator pitch? I'd say it's so important. The type of learning that you do in an internship is so much more interesting and I think lasting than maybe just your other regular units. But when you do an internship, you're actually having like a lived experience and you're getting experience in the workplace as well.
I think it's just that when you're in a classroom and you're doing the unit, like you get more of a theoretical understanding of the concepts, but then I feel like there's a lot more admin work, at least when it comes to public relations, of what it is like to deal with a real life, like client, those soft skills. You can explain it to someone, but up until you experience the pressure of that working environment, how fast-paced it is, and just managing other people's expectations of you, I think that's something you like really learn in this experience.
Such happy music in there. So so moving on from there, and they talked a little bit about, getting that hands-on experience. Do our graduates get jobs? And the answer is yes, they do. So this survey shows that 88% of arts graduates are in full-time employment or full-time study after they graduate. And the salaries are similar or on par with graduates who've studied business or science. So it's a real misnomer that, arts, doesn't get you as many jobs as science or business. That's not true at all. And there's lots and lots of reports to prove otherwise. So let's have a quick look at where your major can take you. I've only picked out 3 majors here because we do have 40 areas of study in arts. So we'll start with sociology. So with sociology, looking at society and how it shapes and is shaped by people, looking at gender, class, sexuality, culture, explores issues of inequality and difference. You might move into areas of social policy or urban planning, maybe human rights. Public relations is a popular area as well. Criminal justice or marketing, maybe even politics or business. So remember I said that arts is so broad and can lead to so many different areas, but this gives you an idea of some of the areas you could possibly move into. Let's take a look at psychology. With the study, psychology does look at the mind more than behaviour. Whereas something like behavioural studies looks more at human behaviour. Psychology really focuses on the mind. And the obvious career path here is psychology, but not everyone sort of wants to head down that path because that is 6 years of study. So you might move into youth work or social work, or maybe be a mental health worker. Maybe you'll be a mediator in sort of the legal area, or you'll go into marketing. Because psychology is useful in so many areas, understanding how the human brain works, maybe in community development or humanitarian aid. And like I said, remember, this is only an idea, but there's lots of other areas that you can move into. And let's look at communications and media studies, a very popular area amongst our students. So you might move into social media or corporate communications, maybe public relations or even journalism. Maybe you'll go into advertising or even international relations. So lots of skills and lots of career options for you. We're just going to play a little video of one of our graduates, and she'll tell you where arts has taken her.
I've always had a passion for gender equality. My Monash...
Sorry, I thought she was going to say her name there. Her name is Romilly. Oh, I've lost her. Here we go.
I know this student.
I've always had a passion for gender equality. My Monash Arts course has given me the skill set and the confidence to work in that space. My name's Rumali Kularatna. I'm originally from Sri Lanka, and I was raised in Dubai before I moved here to Melbourne, and I studied a Bachelor of Arts here at Monash. Studying at Monash is a lot different from what it's like in Dubai, and that's because I could self-direct my learning and really tailor my course to suit my interests. The course content that's available through the Monash Arts degree is relevant on a global scale, so we have the opportunity to learn about issues and concerns that's not just about the Australian context, but about the world. When you come to Monash, make sure that you use all of the different opportunities that's there. That is joining clubs and societies, getting involved in events and volunteering. Everything else outside of your course really makes a difference.
It really does. We encourage you to have lots of opportunities. So Romilly did a communications and media studies major. She also minored in behavioral studies, marketing and psychology. Let's look at some other alumni and see where they've ended up. So Emily Gu, Bachelor of Arts, majored in communications and media studies, and is an account coordinator for Mango Communications. And that's a job she got through her internship that she did as a student with Monash, and they offered her work. And then you've got James Wong, who did a Bachelor of Arts, majored in journalism, and works as a journalist for caradvice.com. So he gets to drive fancy cars around and review them and write about them. So it's kind of, you know, he said it was his dream job. You got Sarah Davidson, who did arts law, majored in French, Japanese and Mandarin. She is the co-owner of Matcha Milk Bar in St Kilda and the co-founder of Matcha Maiden. And you'll find that brand of matcha teas in lots of supermarkets. She also has a podcast that she runs as well. But she credits her Japanese studies to, you know, creating Matcha Milk Bar and Matcha Maiden, because it helped her in Japan to go and source the best products for her business to be able to speak the language. You have Tom Woodruff, who studied Bachelor of Arts and majored in international studies. So he's a senior advisor on multilateral affairs. His big thing is that young people should have a political voice, and he was very active in that even when he was a student. And he also has been one of the youngest diplomats in the world at the time. And you have Jacqueline Ranger, who did a Bachelor of Arts, majored in politics and international studies. When she took arts, she wasn't sure what she wanted to major in, and she discovered a real love for politics and international studies when she tried them. So she works for a big corporate. She works for Fulton Hogan as a communications and stakeholder advisor. But before that, I know that she worked for the National Australia Bank. So this is her second big job here. And we have Sarah Arbo, who you might have seen on TV if you watch regular TV in Australia. She's a reporter for 60 Minutes, and she did a Bachelor of Arts majoring in journalism. The last thing I want to mention is Monash Talent, which is a recruitment agency for Monash graduates to gain work. So it's our very own recruitment agency for our own graduates. So we really want you to succeed, not only in your degree, but also in your career. I'll finish with a video which will tell you a little bit more about studying arts at Monash.
In an increasingly globalized world, we're faced with huge challenges every day. Is capitalism the way forward? How do we manage digital transformation? What can we do to champion diversity in every aspect in our lives? To answer the big questions, we need people who can see the big picture and use their skills to change our world for the better. When you enroll in Bachelor of Arts, you'll develop a multidisciplinary mindset and become the kind of creative change maker the world truly needs. Our world has changed, and the way Monash Arts teaches has changed too. As art students, we'll receive the same amazing arts education the world expects from Monash, with the flexibility of studying both on campus and online. Whether you're learning online or on campus, it's easier than you think. We have more opportunities than ever to get help from your teachers and access to easy-to-use tools, resources, and supports to help you through. Our lecturers make sure that our online content is interactive, engaging, and inspiring, and you can still get to know other students face-to-face or through Zoom. While our world might look a little different right now, studying a Bachelor of Arts at Monash Uni will always ensure that you graduate with practical skills and a global mindset. You'll still gain hands-on experience while you study, with chances to collaborate on real-world international projects across a range of different industries through virtual work integrated learning. Every eligible first-year Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Global Studies student is guaranteed a fully funded international experience through the Global Immersion Guarantee, whether this trip takes place soon or in the future. As Bachelor of Arts students, we learn from inspiring academics and industry experts who will equip us with the job-ready skills needed for any career path, making sure that when we graduate, we're ready to solve problems on a global scale. Equipped with real-world experience and critical and collaborative skill sets, Bachelor of Arts graduates are invaluable to employers. Whether they're writing the Walkley Award-winning exposés, serving as Australia's top diplomats, or placing women's safety at the heart of urban planning, arts graduates lead change across every industry. Get ready to critique, challenge, collaborate, and create with the Bachelor of Arts in Monash University.
Thanks, everyone. That concludes my presentation. So we can now move into, your questions and talk about other things. So I'm just going to stop sharing. But there's our contact information if you need it, or you can contact Tyson or Kavi.
That's right. Thank you so much for that presentation, Georgina. Very, very insightful. She had some really interesting information. All right. Now, the chats are blowing up with lots of fantastic questions that we have. So I'm going to start from the top. And guys, remember, this is a very, very safe space. There's no such thing as a silly question. Every question is a fantastic question. So if you have any more questions, this is your opportunity to write them down in the chats and share them below. But let's start with Yuki. So Yuki has said, I read in Monash website that the Master of Interpreting and Translation Studies, is it only for bilingual students? Lynn, this may be a question for you.
Yep, absolutely. So students generally take this if, say your native language is Chinese, then you would take this degree in Chinese and English. If you're perhaps an Australian student and your native language is English, then you would have to do a major in your undergraduate degree to a high level of proficiency in another language. So it's just bilingual, definitely.
So Lynn, does that mean, I might just ask Yuki. Yuki, are you there? And could you unmute yourself? Hey Yuki.
I am, my name is Japanese, but I live in Thailand, so I cannot speak Japanese. Yes.
So what is your native language, Yuki?
My native language is Thai, but I have been studying Chinese for 3 years.
Fantastic.
So, yep, that's fine. So occasionally we have students who have, say their native language is Chinese, but they actually want to do this course in Japanese and English. If you have reached the level of proficiency and the course coordinator has perhaps had an interview with you to confirm that your level of proficiency is high enough, then you can do the course in another language apart from your native. It's not very often that it does happen, but it can happen.
But my Chinese language isn't so strong.
No, that's fine. So long as you've got a high level of proficiency in English and another language.
It may sound strange because I have two nationalities, Thai and Japanese, but I never learned Japanese in my country. Yes.
Yeah, and that's why the course coordinator, if you apply for this course, generally the course coordinator will make contact with you to make sure that the level of proficiency that you've asked for in this particular degree is high enough for them to confirm that you can enroll into the Master of Interpreting and Translation Studies.
So Yuki, does that answer your question?
Yes, really answer my question.
Awesome, great question, Yuki. Thank you. Let's move to Adiva. So Professor Adiva, she has asked, would units in psychology and behavioral studies be similar? Again, I think, Lynn, you might be the expert on this one.
So very good question, because people get very confused But behavioural studies is just more about understanding human behaviour, right? Whereas what we call psychology is a little bit like stats and rats and labs. So it's the medical version of behavioural studies, but as we know, psychology. Whereas behavioural studies is just understanding human behaviour, like things like where you are in your birth order in your family, how you will be different from the firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, that sort of thing. And how behavioural studies acts in society. But psychology is more the medicine based. So there are labs and rats and stats involved.
Yeah, and psychology focuses on the mind. Whereas, you know, we are more than our mind. We are our behaviours as well.
Thank you very much, Georgina and Lynn. And next, Adiva, while we're on this, your question, Adiva, did you have any other, I think you had another question down below. I'll get to that in a moment, but Adiva, did you have any follow-up question from that question?
Yeah, so would they be like any interchanging units that you would do between the two, or would it just be like completely just separate?
Yeah, the psychology units are coded PSY and they belong to the Faculty of Medicine, even though it's still an arts major. The behavioural studies units are coded ATS, as in arts units.
And then
so there's no crossover between the two. You can't use a behavioural studies unit in a psychology major and vice versa.
Okay, and then is behavioural studies available? Can you do a double major, or you do a major and a
behavioural studies is only available as a minor. So you could do a major in psychology and a minor in behavioural studies. Many students do that, in fact, as well as many students do a double major in crim and psychology.
Yeah, I was also leaning towards that. Thank you.
And Adiva, yeah, you mentioned forensic psychology as an interest area. Yeah. So forensic psychology, you'll cover a little bit of forensics in the psychology major, but it is a specialist area which it requires graduate study, and it's encouraged that you should pick up chemistry in your undergraduate studies if you want to head that way.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adiva. So the next question we have is from Joanna. Joanna has asked, is it possible for me to study forensic psychology? This might be similar to the last question. And when will we get to choose our bachelor's major? I can answer the second question. But Joanna, can you confirm for me, is this your last trimester of your diploma?
No, it's actually my first.
Okay, so you've just started your diploma. So basically, Joanna, in your last trimester, which will be next trimester for you, of your diploma, in about week 8, week 9, you're going to get an email from us, and it's going to invite you to submit your course preference. And that will be your final opportunity to tell Monash University exactly what is your first preference course that you'd like to do and what major you'd like to choose, and what's your second and your third preference.
All right. Thank you.
No worries, Joanna. For the other question, is it possible for me to study forensic psychology? Is that a possibility, Lynn and Georgina?
Well, I think we kind of answered that, didn't we, George?
Yeah. So you cover in one of the I guess the subjects in the major, you'll cover some forensics, like you'll cover the topic, but not in a huge deal of depth. And it is graduate study that you'll have to pursue after your bachelor's studies to go into forensics. It's a very specialist area.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Joanna. We have a question from Cherry. Cherry's asked, can I minor in biology alongside my psychology major?
Yes, you can. Just have to be very careful though, because you guys come in with 48 points of first year credit. So make sure you are in that psychology stream, okay? Because if you're not in the psychology stream, say you're in the sociology stream, you'll come in with 48 points, pick up the 2 psych units. There's no room for any other first year level units. So just make sure you are in that psych stream. And then you can pick up a minor in biology as some of your free electives.
Cherry, are you in the psychology stream?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
So then, yes, you can pick up a biology minor. Yeah.
But I think biology is in the Bachelor of Science, right? Can I cross bachelor like that?
Yes, but students can pick up units from another faculty in their free electives.
Okay.
So
they have to give permission from that faculty to do those units, because sometimes their units will have a math prerequisite, for instance. So you just need to apply for that faculty to take their first year level units, and if they feel that you've met the requirements, then they'll let you enroll.
Okay, thanks.
And Lynn, that would could count as a minor, or four units of study.
4 units is a minor, yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much, Lynn. Adiva has asked, can we take electives outside the Bachelor of Arts subjects? I think we've just discussed this, but...
Yep. Absolutely. So long as you get approval from the other faculty. As I said, because some things, even in BizEco, they have a math requirement. But generally from business and economics, art, design and architecture, science, law
IT.
doesn't let you do art free electives. Education doesn't let you do electives. What am I missing, G?
So you can take electives from business, science, IT, and that's it. Oh, not really. Well, maybe now. Maybe that's new. Yeah.
Business, science, IT, and maybe a bit of art and design.
Yeah, with approval.
With approval.
From that faculty.
Okay. There you go. Adiva, yes, you can. You just need to get faculty approval if you wish to do so.
Because we quite often actually, just going on to that, we do get students that might be doing a major in journalism or doing the Bachelor of Media Communications, a specialisation in journalism, and they'll pick up a couple of units in photography from art and design. So yeah, it's common.
That would be cool. Okay. Joanna has asked, how do I apply for an internship? Will Monash help me, or is it something I should look for on my own?
Absolutely. So if you're applying for an internship, we have our own dedicated arts will work integrated learning team. So the unit is by application only. You can either ask for a Monash sourced internship or professional practice, or you can try and source your own. So if you have a student sourced one, you just need to provide the information to the Arts Will team, and they'll approve it if they've met all the requirements to be a student sourced internship. The process can take about a semester. So they normally open up applications a semester in advance of when you want to enroll or apply for that internship.
So Lynn, would your advice be for students who wish to do an internship to organise it early on in their...
Generally, you can't do it anyway till probably your final year. So you have to meet some requirements for the internship for ATS 3129, which is a 12-point internship. You need to have a distinction average and completed 48 Monash credit points. To complete the professional practice, which is a 6-point unit, you need basically credit average, and I think probably 24 points of Monash credit as well. But generally you do that as a capstone unit in your final year, so your 3rd year. So start looking at perhaps the website, perhaps in your 2nd year of your second semester of your 2nd year. Have a look at the Arts Will site, and they'll have dates of when the applications will be opening for the following semester. Now these units can also be taken in summer and winter. So it's a great opportunity over winter or summer when you've got that break, because they can be done intensively.
You're talking about the internship units.
Yeah.
We could spend our summer holidays doing an internship.
Absolutely.
And getting our Monash credits towards our degree.
Absolutely.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yep.
Marvelous. Okay. Yuki has asked, I'm tired, but I'm interested in the field of Bachelor and Master. Okay, so this is a Bachelor of Masters question. And I've learned Chinese for 3 years, so I want to pursue Chinese studies. So I want to know if I'm multilingual, can I continue Master of Interpreting and Translation Studies after my Bachelor degree? So Yuki, I think we answered this question before, and the answer from Lynn is yes, this is possible. Now, we heard from Yuki that she's native in Thai, the Thai language. Yuki, is that correct in me saying you are not a Chinese native speaker though, correct?
Correct.
That's okay. Yeah, so you're not a Chinese native speaker, you're a Thai native speaker, and you're an English, proficient in English.
Yes.
So Lynn, would Yuki could she do Chinese then if it's not her fluent?
Yeah, so we have to get approval from the Master Interpretive Translation Study Course Coordinator for that to happen. If you're looking at pursuing that under the Bachelor's Master's type situation, it is slightly different, as Georgina was saying about the other Masters, because you don't actually get all the credit into that Master's. It will actually take you 1.5 years. So you'll do 24 points of postgrad units in your final year of your arts degree. But because this is actually a kind of a accredited type of course, we don't grant credit into this course like we do from a normal bachelor's into a normal master's. So only the units that get credited will be the ones you complete in your bachelor's degree. Okay. So it will take 1 semester longer. Is that correct, G?
1.5 years.
1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it depends on where you're at with the language. Yeah. How it's assessed.
Okay. Thanks, Georgina and Lynn. From Suyo. Suyo's asked, can I have double degrees such as arts and law or arts and business after the diploma, and what's the threshold, or what's the entry requirements for that? So I can answer about arts and law, Suyo. With respect to arts and law, yes, there is a non-advertised pathway into Monash law with arts, a double degree. The requirements for that, Suyo, is that in your Part 2 Diploma of Arts, you maintain a 80, so that's a high distinction or above. That's the minimum eligibility to be considered or accepted by Monash Law School. So that's, again, the minimum requirement, 80, a grade of 80 average across your Diploma Part 2. And then the law school would then make a decision on a case-by-case basis in terms of whether you can get a spot or not. Now, that being said, the other option into law, if you're interested in law, Suyo, and you don't get the 80, that's absolutely fine, because you can also apply for an internal course transfer into law. That course transfer can be done now. I've heard from Monash Law doesn't have to be a full year anymore. It can just be 1 semester. So within 1 semester, your first semester and your second year in Monash Arts, if you maintain a distinction average, so that's a 70 or above, that's the minimum eligibility to be considered by Monash Law School for a transfer into law. And then you could go into a arts and law double degree. As for arts and business, Lynn, could you answer that one? Eligibility for?
Yeah, same thing, Tyson. You can certainly apply to go straight into the double from the diploma. So when you have your chat from admissions at the end of your final trimester, they will give you a chance to apply for other degrees, as Tyson said earlier. And you can try and put in the arts business pathway if you like. You obviously won't get all the credit from Monash College, because when we combine 2 degrees like this, you lose the electives. So you'll only get 24 points towards your arts, and you'd have to follow through with a major or minor or whatever, what you've already done at Monash College, and you start at first year level with business. But yes, you can be assessed into the double straight from college.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. So for students who want to pursue a double degree arts and business, they can do so subject to approval by the other faculty, and they lose 24 credit points.
Correct. Or alternatively, you start the bachelor's degree, then apply for an internal course transfer, as you're suggesting with the arts law, if you don't get in initially.
Okay, that can be another way. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, we do have a gender studies major and also criminology, just to answer the rest of that question.
Okay. Lynn, I've got another question here. A student has asked, if registered with disability support services, is it possible to do half units?
Oh, you mean underload?
Maybe, I think the student means to underload.
Yeah, okay. International students are supposed to maintain a full-time load, which is 4 units per semester. But there are some cases where students can apply to underload with supporting documentation. So mainly because when you come to Monash, you get given a visa for a certain, or a COE for a certain period of time. Now you might have a packaged offer with a diploma plus the bachelor's. So there'll be 1 year of diploma, 2 years of bachelor's, and you are meant to finish your degree by the end of the date of your COE and your visa. So even though you register with DSS, doesn't mean you automatically get to be underloaded. You actually still have to apply to underload. So, but we can make recommendations on how to spread your load, because you can take perhaps 3 units in one semester, 1 unit in winter, 3 in the next, and then 1 in summer A or summer B. So we can help you spread the load a bit instead of underloading if you wish as well. But yeah, you can. Certainly if you're a domestic student, you can choose to do part-time units, 2 units, 3 units, whatever you like. But international is slightly different because you are here on a student visa.
Great. Thank you, Lynn. And to make that application for underloading, is that done through
Monash Connect? So you submit an inquiry through Monash Connect, and they would forward that through to the faculty for approval.
Thank you very much, Lynn. A question from Joanna. So just to confirm, can I still major in psychology if I'm currently in the Diploma of Arts program?
If you're in the Diploma of Arts Psychology stream, yes.
So Joanna, hello. Are you doing the psychology stream?
Yes, I am.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Because we do occasionally get some college students that are doing the sociology stream, and they come to us and go, actually, I want to do the psych stream. And all of a sudden that adds a year of study to their degree and their visa. So we prefer if you're in the psychology stream for the beginning, because then it's only 2 years to complete your APAC major.
Great, thank you, Lynn. So for any students who are still a bit unsure, they're in their diploma right now and they're not sure if they're considering psychology, but they're in the non-psychology stream, they should be really transferring diplomas. Yeah, otherwise there could be consequences in adding extra time to the degree.
Yeah, I guess time and cost are the things to consider.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lynn and Georgina. Okay, Suyo's asked, what's the difference between a double major and a double degree? Great question.
Very common question. Do you take my G? I'm happy to take it.
Yeah, I can talk. So a degree it's a bachelor's degree. For example, a Bachelor of Arts, a double degree is a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Business, for example. A double major, so a major is an area of study, for example, psychology, sociology, communications and media studies, and your major is studied in your bachelor degree. So most people will do one major, and that's usually 8 units of their 24, but some choose to do 2, and that will take up 16 of your 24 units. So a major is done in a degree. Does that make sense? Do you need further explanation? Because I know it can be a little bit confusing.
Suyo, does that make sense?
Can I just add on?
Go ahead, Gabby.
When I used to speak to students, when they asked me this question, I used to tell them, look, when you have a double degree, you will graduate with 2 separate certificates at the end of it. So you have 2 qualifications. But a double major, you're still going to have 1 certificate and 2 areas of studies.
Good explanation, Kavi.
Years of recruitment.
Great explanation, Kavi. And Georgina, likewise. Now, we have more questions and we're running out of time. So Adiba's asked, what would the difference between doing part 2 at Monash College and first year at the university be? How would one get into an honours year, and what are the benefits of doing honours? So let's unpack this. We start with the first question. What would the difference between doing part 2 at Monash College or doing first year at the university be? So I can talk a little bit about that. So doing part 2 at the college, there are a number of advantages to doing so rather than exiting early, Adiba. One of the big advantages is time and cost. Another advantage is in that transition to Monash University. A lot of students, they say, we want to stay in part 2. The reason being is we get that extra time and attention with our teachers, our lecturers, our tutors to really build those skills that you need when you hit the ground running in second year. Because you're going into second year, you want to build up those skills early on. So that's a big decision-making factor for many students to take part to. Doing first year at the university has its merits as well. It means that you'll be in the university ecosystem sooner. However, obviously right now with the virtual study world that we're in, there is limitations to enjoyment of that ecosystem. One of the big things is campus life, right? Making friends, the social bits. That's compromised right now. As we know, we're in the midst of a global pandemic. So I hope that sort of explains the key important things that you might be thinking about from a student perspective. Next question though, first, how would one get into an honours year? Lynn and Georgina. I think Adiva's again talking about psychology honours.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is that right, Adiva? Correct me if I'm wrong. Talking about psych honours, right?
Yep, okay, right. So once you've completed your APAC degree under the Bachelor of Arts, you'll need to be achieving a very high distinction average because it's extremely competitive to get into arts honours psychology. Psychology actually do the assessment for this, and what they do is they have so many applications, they actually end up having a cut-off score. Now that cut-off score can change from year to year depending on the quality of the applicants and the quality of the WAM those students have. So for instance, last year they were looking at students up around the 80-81% average, especially over their third year psych units. Good thing is you're actually a Monash student, so you will get a little bit of preference over some outside applicants, external applicants, because we get them from everywhere. Get them from Melbourne Uni, from Deakin, overseas, you name it, they all come and apply for BA on Psych. And obviously they have limited places, so it's very competitive. So you need to be achieving, as I said, that very high score. What happens is you have to apply for it. So as an international student, you'd have to apply through admissions, as well as complete the Psychology Honours online application form as well. So there's two processes for that. But make sure you're achieving a very high distinction average at the end of the third year at least.
And Lynn, could you just very quickly comment on the benefits of doing an honours? In this case, it would be access to becoming potentially a clinical psychologist, right?
Well, you must do a fourth year or a grade dip in psych to go on to become a clinical psychologist, correct?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Lynn. Conscious of time, Rui has asked, any course recommendations if I want to improve non-fiction writing in English, like creative writing? Course suggestions, guys.
Absolutely. We have literary studies major and minor, and you can do creative writing units in that major or minor. So definitely,
I would also encourage linguistics as well, to understand how language is made up, the effects of language. I think it goes hand in hand with creative writing.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Cherry's asked how to apply for other faculties' approval. So
good question, Cherry.
Cherry's referring again to studying the biology minor.
Yeah, of course. So once again, when you come to Monash, we have this central point of contact called Monash Connect. And when you go to this website, you can do an inquiry to Monash Connect. Doesn't matter what it's about. Could be about your fees, could be about your student ID card, could be about applying for a unit from another faculty. So this is where you submit an inquiry, say, hi, I'd like permission to do BIO Biology 1011, right? So they would probably send that through to the Faculty of Science. They make sure that they believe you've met the prerequisites for that, if there are any. And then they would either enrol you in that unit or tell you can enrol in it yourself. Depends if it's WES barred or not. So it's just a matter of sending in an inquiry and it will go to that faculty.
Awesome. Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
Just a few last questions here. What would one have to do to eventually go into clinical psychology from Adiva? So I think we briefly mentioned that, Lynn, but it would be...
Yeah, there's a great, if you type into the Monash website, how to become a psychologist.
I'll share the link.
Yeah, share that, because they actually have basically a map of the progression through. So It's a brilliant one from the medicine faculty.
Awesome. Thanks, Georgina. Yuhan, Yuhan's a business student doing the diploma.
Yes, you can do a minor in music, but it's not the performance music. It's like music history, theory of music, that sort of thing. So it's not performance units, although you can do ensemble. And
ensemble would be have performative.
Yeah, it's a group. Yeah.
Okay. Adiva's asked, what's the difference between doing a Bachelor of Psychology and a Bachelor of Arts with a major in Psych?
Okay, so the Bachelor of Psychology honours degree has a very high entry level to get into it for a start. So that's the main difference. You've got a package offer into the BA. You could ask to go into the Bachelor of Psychology honours, but so it's a much more specific degree, much more higher entry requirement, and you wouldn't get all your credit from Monash College either, because they have a lot more core units you need to complete as well.
Can I just say, it's also very focused on psychology. So most of your units will be in psychology. And if you know that's what you want your focus to be, great. But if you want more flexibility and maybe discover new areas of study, then you would do it in a Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah, and even though if you did get into the Bachelor of Psychology honours, which is the 4-year degree, which is basically a bachelor's degree plus the honours degree, when you get to the 3rd year of your bachelor's degree, it's not a given that you will actually do the 4th year. You still have to be meeting a specific WAM to go into that 4th year. Otherwise, you'd be exiting with a different bachelor's degree. So it's similar to Bachelor of Arts honours or Bachelor of Psychology honours, but you still have to be achieving a high score to do that 4th year.
All right, and what would the entry requirements be?
From the get-go, we'd have to look that one up.
I'll have a look now. I think it's about, I thought it was about 85 or something.
Right.
ATAR anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure for college.
So up around the distinction average.
So if Adiva was interested, she might make an application. She could put it as her first preference, and it would be considered by the faculty on a case-by-case basis. There
Absolutely.
You go, Adiva. So you want to throw your hat in? You absolutely could. Great. We have a question here from Suyo. Is criminology and gender studies in the sociology stream?
No, they're both separate majors, separate areas of study in the Faculty of Arts. So you could major in, well, you guys do, okay, let's go back to the streams again. If you're doing the sociology stream, you can definitely come in and do a major in sociol and a major in crim. But you couldn't then pick up a minor or a major in gender studies because there's just not enough room and you've already completed the maximum 10 first-year level units. You could, however, pick up some gender studies units because they cross over with sociology as well. So you can still pick up some gender studies units under this sociology major.
Got it. Thanks, Lynn. Last but not least, Kaylee's asked, can I drop out of one degree and does it incur any penalties?
Okay, I'm not sure why you'd be wanting to drop out of the degree once you've started it, but we do have what we call census dates, okay? So say you start studying with us in March, we have dates in April when it's the last day to discontinue your unit without an academic or financial penalty. And same with discontinuing a degree. There's census dates that you need to abide by, like anything, I guess, in life, there's always dates. So, hopefully you wouldn't be wanting to drop out of our degree. Do you mean maybe transferring to another degree in the university? Because if that's the case, you'd ideally want to perhaps complete the semester and then apply for a course transfer.
Yeah, so Kaylee, in that case, if you were to do a double degree and you'd already done the units, you'd obviously have to pay for that time that you've done that portion of the degree. But there isn't an academic penalty, is there, Lynn or Georgina, if you discontinue a degree?
There's an academic penalty if you withdraw from units late.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is, although during COVID it's been slightly different. But generally, yeah, you'll see on the university's website there's census dates. They're totally advertised, so everyone should know when they should be able to discontinue a unit early, or if you discontinue a unit late, then penalties will apply.
Yeah. Okay. I'm very conscious of the time, Lynn and Georgina. Do you have time for Adiva's last question here before we wrap up?
I do. What is it?
Are there any prerequisites for the Bachelor of Psychology?
Be mainly the WAM.
Would be English, just English. So yeah, same as arts, just English.
So in Adiva's case, if she wanted to get into psychology from the diploma part 2, presumably the faculty would be looking for quite a high diploma average score. I'm speculating here, but Lynn, could it be 85 or above?
No, it wouldn't be that high.
Maybe
I imagine
high
it'd be a 70. I imagine it's a 70, but I will tell, I'll have a quick look now.
Yeah. I think it probably higher than a 70. But,
yeah, it
and
is.
again, Adiva, these things are all made on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah,
it is. Adiva's a very bright student. She's one of my students. But yeah, again, nothing is guaranteed, irrespective of how well you perform academically. Again, it's the decision of the faculty.
Yeah, it is an overall average of 70% to apply internally, as in from one degree, from one Monash degree, from a degree to that degree. I don't know about college to that degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adiva, we can do a one-on-one consultation to discuss this in more detail, given the time, and we can work out a possible pathway for you if that's what you'd like, and we can investigate that. And similarly, Suyo, we have to be very conscious of Georgina and Lynn's time, because we've gone over time, and I'm very sorry, Georgina and Lynn, but I'm equally very, very thankful because you guys have been so helpful. You've answered so many questions. You've taken away a lot of uncertainty for all of us. And I know the students are extremely grateful. So please, students, friends, give a big thank you to Lynn and Georgina in the chats. Big thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. It's been fun.
Thank you so much, Lynn and Georgina. We absolutely appreciate you guys so much and the effort that you put into today, and for all the hard work that you do for us here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No,
Good luck, everyone.
All the best, everybody. I look forward to seeing you in 2021.
Bye, everyone. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.